Are you, so just to, all together? Okay. Oh, good, thank you.
Hello, Board. My name is Richard Gibb. I'm the parent of Dean Gibb. I'm a second-year parent at Anna Yates. Real short, graduate of Duke University, also a graduate of Fordham Law School. Moved here from the East Coast with my wife. Unfortunately, she can't attend. I've handed out a handout to you. I realize that I am restricted to 3 minutes by the bylaws. I have brought Todd Ross and his wife, and also Marie Henry and her husband. I'm not going to use all of that time, but I would respectfully ask for 10 minutes. I certainly am not going to go through every word of this document, but I wanted to give you something hard so that you could review it when you have more time.
And just to clarify, you're representing that the folks you've brought are ceding their time to you to speak on this topic?
Yes. And I also want to say Melanie Barreto, who is a temporary computer teacher at Anna Yates, is here. Also, Mrs. Jordan is here, and Principal Lathan is here. They have put in extensive time over the last 2 weeks putting this together, so this isn't just me. It's been a group effort of parents, teachers, and administrators. Okay. What I want to talk about is the need for a full-time computer science teacher at Anna Yates and K through 12 curriculum, but I'm just going to keep it to Anna Yates for now because I haven't had time to talk with the principal of the high school. In the first paragraph there, in its simplest form, an algorithm is a method for solving the problem in a step-by-step manner. So children who learn about algorithmic problem solving whenever they discover a collection of steps that can be carried out to accomplish a task. Now, this seems like a small concept, but it's really an important concept because a lot of times when computer science is looked upon in schools, we think of it, oh, we're teaching kids how to code. That's not what we're doing. Or we're preparing kids how to problem solve. And so coding is one thing they can do, but they could end up being a nurse or they could end up being a television reporter. It's the problem solving that's so critical, okay? Bridging the gap, we all know that there's a big gap in both underrepresented, meaning Black and Latino representation, and particularly women. I'm going to go right to the bottom. In 1985, there were 37% of the computer science majors were women. By 2010, that had gone down to 18%. Okay, so that's a big drop. If we go to the next page, you'll see on the bottom, this was not put together by me. This was put together by the National Center of Education Statistics, the National Center for Women in Information Technology, the Girl Scout Research Institute, and the American Association of University Women. So it's pretty credible sources. Basically, in school age, 68% of boys are interested in computer science, 66% of girls, basically the same. When they take the computer science exam, they score the same. Okay? However, perceptions hold them back. What they found is that when girls were told that boys were naturally better, boys scored 4 times better than girls. Okay, I can't really extrapolate that to African Americans and Hispanics, but I would think some of the same things are there. The important thing is that what we do as educators, as parents, has a big effect on the directions kids take. Okay, that's the point. How do they suggest change the story? Female role models. Program early, make people aware of those stereotypes, provide encouragement, and have social interaction. Okay, where our scholars are now, I'm not picking on Anna Yates at all. I love the school. I think they're doing a great job. Our score is for the API last year, from what I could see from the website, was 774. If I look at some of the other what would be considered top schools in Piedmont, Montclair, they're up above 900. Now, I think we've done a great job getting to 774, but here's what I want to get to, which is particularly appropriate for this topic. I had to sit down with Melanie Barreto, and it actually took a whole week to get this data compiled. But what she found was that the majority of students beneath the 5th grade could not, this is the only slide I'm actually going to read the whole thing. They could, not log into applications when given a user ID and password. 2, could not find the computer's audio out and plug in the headset. 3, could not troubleshoot the volume controls on the desktop. When we moved to the 8th grade, students could not use all 10 fingers to type on the keyboard without looking. They could not do this without a teacher's assistance. They could not identify and use the scroll bar. They could not zoom in and out or enlarge or compress the visible font size on the screen. They could not perform searches for images using a search engine, right-click to save images, create a file folder using the operating system, identify, use the caps lock the numbers lock, or the function keys on the top, save a document onto a zip drive, use email or had email, identify the difference between shutting down the computer and turning the monitor off, could not print out a document, could not identify the USB ports and plug in a mouse or a keyboard, could not troubleshoot posing a question on a browser search bar, could not refresh a web page, could not identify the shift key, could not access alternate keys, could not double click to select items or open files, or use the escape key to exit the full screen mode, or identify the functions backslash, the @ symbol, or the brackets. What does this have to do with testing and our students' performance? In March of this year, regardless of the pace it will take us to get a computer science program in our K through 8, the state has mandated through the Common Core that grades 3 through 8 plus 11th grade and some students in the 10th grade will have to take a test on a computer. I have taken this test. You absolutely need to know how to do every single one of those things that I just ran through. Now, our teachers are doing a great job. Students are doing a great job. The atmosphere in the school is positive. But where we've made up progress, it would be a shame to lose that progress, not because our students aren't learning, but because they don't know how to scroll down. And you do have to scroll down. You have to go back and forth. You have to use the function keys just to get these basic these tests. And the 3rd grade test is just as hard from a computer standpoint as the 8th grade test. Next, we have the happy slides. If you could follow along, it's easy to find where I'm at because it's a big, colorful slide. That is the work that Melanie has done. Melanie has a degree in film, undergraduate, and a master's degree in animation, which takes a great deal of technical skill to achieve. She also has a teaching credential in the state of California. So this is what she's done, and the computer room did not look like this before. You flip the next page. Some of the work that she's done with the kids to spark their imagination, you'll see G, Y, and a B there. These are actually fonts. So she's teaching children who are ready for it how to design their own font. On the next page, you'll see an example of some of her work. This is an animation program. I've gotten together with Ryan. It's already installed upon our new, we have a free license. It's thousands of dollars worth of software. It's all already on our new computers. So she's teaching, the nice thing about this is its application of geometry, of mathematical concepts. If we've got some kids that aren't really that excited, these are the types of things that they're going to get excited. I've been in there trying to work with her and had the kids knocking on the door, seeing if they can get in the computer room to go work on something that they worked on before with her. This is not a picture. This is an example of her work. Just wanted to show what a finished product looks like, something for our kids to aspire to. Going to the next page, it says computer science. Now, I tried to stick to the authoritative sources. The Association for Computer Machinery is the most prestigious computer science organization in the world. It's in New York, 100,000 members, well established, okay? This is their words. This is in the NAACP or my words. There's a significant lack of access to upper-level computer science courses for many underrepresented populations, creating a major equity issue for access to this critical knowledge, and this problem is growing. Lack of access to K-12 computer science education or privileged knowledge is what educational researchers have described as a significant social justice issue for the 21st century. If you want to get more information, simply plug in the information on the bottom of the page. It's literally hundreds of pages of research. It's covered every topic that you would want. The next page, we're going to skip that. I'm going to go to 2 example schools, and I'm going to go over this real quick. One is in Mexico. It's in, once again, I want to pick on another country, but this particular school does happen to be located in a very poor area. There's a significant problem with drugs and violence. It is not your ideal school, okay? In 2011, 44% of the kids in this school essentially failed the math portion. 31% failed Spanish. This is a school in Mexico. And 0 posted an excellent score in math. The teacher was able to, he would pose questions to the students. He didn't have a good internet connection, so he'd have to go home, print out the answers on Google, then bring it back to the next day. Those were the tools that he had to work with, but he was using some of these concepts that are in these papers. The next year, this is not 10 years later, students failing the math portion reduced from 45% to 7%. Students failing Spanish reduced from 31% to 3.5%. Students scoring excellent in math increased from 0 to 63%. 3 students placed in the 99th percentile in Spanish in Mexico. 10 students placed in the 99th percentile in math. 1 student scored the highest score in the entire country of Mexico. This is all from one class. It's not from a school. It's just one teacher in one class of a school. In Mountain View, just an example, they've got a computer science program at the girls' middle school, 3 years of computer science. They design and create robots, create entrepreneurial websites, animation, solve real-world problems. It's really important that the students have their own problems to solve. They found that that was key because that ended up translating into them having great test scores. Because when they learned how to problem solve, they were much more confident when they went into the testing environment. So that's really what I'm trying to hit at there. And the last part is just that we don't have to do this alone, okay? There's multiple organizations. I've highlighted Girls Who Code. I'm not going to go through it right here, but on the right, you can see the corporate sponsors: Twitter, GE, Knight Foundation, AT&T, Goldman Sachs. These organizations have only been around a couple of years. I've actually met the people who are active in these organizations. They have raised from hundreds of thousands, literally, to millions of dollars. So if we're saying, how could we afford to do this? People are doing this in our backyard, and they don't have a computer room like we do. They don't have a set environment. They are raising funds specifically for black and brown kids and women to learn how to code. So there is corporate support out there. Okay? The Playing Field Institute is another example. Offline, I'd be happy to give you at least 20 examples, but I'm not going to do that here. I got a couple of examples of children. One of them I'm just going to use. Her name is Emery Oshirind. She's Nigerian but lives in Toronto, I believe. She goes by the tag name Wonder Girl. She started getting interested in computers at the age of 9. She kind of taught herself stuff, looking on YouTube, playing around. By 14 years old, she started making beats. She's interested in making beats. This 14-year-old girl's won 2 contests in Canada. She's so successful that Jay-Z, everybody knows him, I'm not a big fan. But he is famous, everybody knows him. He decided to put one of her songs on his album. The cost of that is about $100,000. She sold about 3 songs. She's 14. She's 15 right now. She's a junior. So she hasn't even got to college. She's already made hundreds of thousands of dollars making beats on her computer. Okay, so it's just an example of what a motivated student can do, you know, when just given the opportunity. Very similar to what we were talking about before with our kids. Now, Ryan is personal friends with a guy named Dan Garcia, and you know, it's almost like dumb luck. This guy Dan Garcia that he knows is a PhD at Berkeley, right? He's one of 5 guys in the entire country tasked to create the AP Computer Science exam and design a course for K-12 curriculum. And he's right around the corner. The course is designed to be completely free. It's designed that the school district would not have to invest any money either for the books or for the implementation. They got videos. One of our teachers in the high school is already trained. He's available. He happens to know our IT director. Unbelievable guy. You can go on YouTube, put in the name Dan Garcia. Even if you watch 15 minutes, it'll blow your mind away. This course is not designed for nerds. It's designed for everybody. You can see there's language specifically in the site that talks about bringing women and bringing minorities into it. Oakland Tech, by the way, is one of the high schools where they're rolling this out this year. So they've already rolled it out to several high schools. I'm definitely not going to go through the curriculum, but on the right side, you'll see the Common Core curriculum. It's several pages. It's in the appendix. On the right side, you'll see the Common Core curriculum. On the left side, you'll see the model curriculum by the ACM. Okay? This breaks out grade by grade what students should know. And this is, once again, not teaching them the code. This is teaching them how to be computer literate and how to self-direct their learning. So they've gotten it all the way down to the little kids level. So this is something that we can implement. It's also something we can bring parents in and say, hey, this is something you need to help your kid with. This is where they need to get because this is going to affect their future. I just got to say, I think Melanie's doing an unbelievable job. She also happens to be Mexican, which is not particularly relevant to me. But the reality is we just had all this research that there's not enough women, there's not enough minorities. And so to have a woman who's also a minority, who's well-credentialed, and has done just an unbelievable job. If you go into that classroom, you see that classroom for even 5 minutes, you'll be like, how did we even get this person here? It would be a terrible loss if we did not have a full-time position for her. I am on the school side council. I have talked to parents. You can see the parents. I told all these parents about this meeting once. They all showed up. I believe I could have told more. I did not want to go to the parents en masse before addressing the board because I did not want to offend anybody because I only know a couple of you. And I wasn't trying to trap you. This is a partnership issue. I think this is an issue that will make us all look good. I think it'll make our kids happy and excited to come to school. I also think it'll help them score better on tests. And I just think, we're in, I do go to Duke University 4 times a year. Duke has tech events where they literally bring the head of Apple and all these guys, and they will come out, they will come to our school, they will give us, corporate support can be lined up. What I do need is for the school to start seriously, and the board, looking at how do we actually implement. All the work about what to do has been done. It's somewhere in the document. That's what I wanted to say. I've gone a little bit over, but I appreciate the time.
What's your name?
My name is Richard Gibb.
Richard Gibb.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry I had to step out, but thank you very much for bringing this topic to the board. So we don't normally have a discussion here, but I think we all appreciate you bringing such detail and depth to the comments to us. So I think hopefully the district will be able to solidify or some type of conversation with you as well as other interested parents to understand where we are and what's possible and at this point, and also come back forward to the board as well. So
I completely understand. The only reason that I felt an urgency to bring it this way is the testing.
Right.
The worst feeling is to be in a test and not know what to do, and we know the kids got to take it in March, and then it rolls out to the whole school system next year. And also, I didn't mention the ACT is going on computer-based in 2015, so we want our kids to be able to compete in the testing environment.
No, that's right. No, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Madam Chair?
Sure.
Yeah, if I could.
Please.
So, yeah, I really appreciate Mr. Gibb bringing the issue to us, and I think, as I told him yesterday, I think that this is exactly the kind of public conversation we have to be having this year, because we have new requirements this year to design how we're going to spend our money under the state's new local control funding formula. We have a lot more flexibility, and we're going to be deciding, what the priorities are ultimately, but we have to involve parents and the community in making those decisions. So I think this is exactly what we're seeing, the kind of thing that we want to see. I'm really excited about your presentation. The other thing I'll say is that, and you understand this is not an action item. I mean, this is just a public sort of comment from you and the community. We've seen at various points thus far in the year, parents come in and ask for music and art, and a teacher come and ask for a PE teacher, and we were specifically requested, we limited the morning, I forget what we're calling the position, but the support we're getting.
The noon duty supervisor?
Yeah, the duty supervisor, which the individual has been great. I really enjoy interacting with that, and it seems that teachers appreciate that, that help that they're getting from the duty supervisor. But we limited that to just the 1st through December, so we could figure out, whether it's PE or something else. So it's all of that to say, I guess I would ask staff to continue that conversation that we started on the PE teacher, and come back to us with, what's in the budget for this year, and what if anything we can do for this year on those priorities we've heard so far from the community. And secondly, going forward, it's I think we're going to be engaging, as if you hang out long enough, any of our parents, you'll see we're going to be engaging starting in January with community forums on how we're going to be setting our priorities going forward.
And you'll hear a little bit more about that related to community engagement with the LCAP plan.
Exactly.
And also Mr. Bonet, as it relates to the BAC and the Budget Advisory Committee for 2014-15. So all of the priorities that we've heard, some of them we didn't hear when we were planning the budget for last year, for 13-14. Some of this is new, but it's certainly warranted and very, very important, a very, very important part of where we're going. And so we will continue to leverage and use the process that we have in place to make sure that the priorities of the parents and of the community and of the school and teachers and the direction of mandates, all of that, testing, et cetera, are all considered as part of our priorities for our 14-15 budget.
Right. And to build on your point, the state hadn't passed AB 484
No,
when
they
we did the budget.
Correct.
That didn't pass till September.
Right.
That's the bill that's saying we're going to be doing this smarter balance, computer adaptive testing for everyone this year. So that was a surprise to the whole school community.
That's right. And Mr. Gibb is absolutely right with regard to that, because there are some school districts that are already moving to teaching keyboarding in second grade and first grade in some cases. So
Well,
there's
we're
lots
doing
of-
it in first grade.
There's
Our computer teachers teaching Mr. Gibb's son and my son
we're
keyboarding.
I'm talking about scope and sequence and that sort of thing
Yeah.
related to, sort of K-12 computer curriculum and that sort of thing. So, but there's definitely a lot of this programmatically that we have to have conversations about, and this is exactly the right kind of conversation to have, and we do have a process to make sure that all of this gets inputted into that in terms of decisions that we make.
So can you come back to us in January, whether it's through the budget subcommittee or with some assessment, which may be we don't have any money to do anything different. I don't know, but it just seems like.
Yeah, we'll give you the monthly updates on the BAC and the LCAP plan for sure.
My request is to at least take it to the budget or the finance committee. What, if anything, we can do this year with any of these issues we've heard on PE, art, music, and now computer?
Okay, we'll talk about that.
Okay.
That's helpful. All right, great suggestion. So Miguel will be on. He's tapped on that one. Yes, I'm sorry.
Hi, everybody.